you guys? It's Naseem here. Now, after using the iPhone 13 Pro for about 8 months now, the one thing that kept coming to my mind after using it on a day-to-day basis was this simple statement that I think explains the 13 Pro pretty perfectly. And that statement is, I think that the iPhone 13 Pro is still one of the best phones that you can get in 2022. And I say this because when you think about it, throughout the entire lifespan of this phone, there was never one time where I had any major complaints when it came to its productivity. Even when we look at it from a more broad perspective, the 13 Pro is well respected amongst many different communities, whether it's longtime Apple fans, common users who needed to upgrade their phone, and people who just switched over to an iPhone for the first time. And in my opinion, I think that speaks volumes because throughout my entire time of using it, I can say that this is one of, if not the most consistent phone that I've used in the past year. And besides my reasonings for why I think that the iPhone 13 Pro is so good this far into its lifespan, I wanted to give you guys my experience with it to help you decide if it's the right phone for you. And now the next thing that I wanted to look at when it came to the 13 Pro was the display. Now the iPhone 13 Pro has a 6.1 inch Super Retina XDR display that I must say felt like a much better upgrade when compared to last year's 12 Pro. My favorite thing that I loved about the screen was that it had a 120Hz refresh rate, so that added to the overall smoothness when I scrolled through the OS. And now when it comes to size, it's all preference, but I would definitely say that the 13 and 13 Pro are the most comfortable when holding it in hand. I didn't have to stretch my fingers too far to reach the screen. I could still see everything very clear because it was pretty big, and it was overall the right fit for me. It wasn't too small and it wasn't too big. I also really like the haptics on the 13 Pro. Like whenever I was scrolling through the OS, playing games, and even customizing my home screen, I never got any lag, and the screen overall kept up that great consistency. And that one problem that I had with the screen was that it wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be. Like whenever I was outside at work, it was a little harder when compared to phones like the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and that's the main issue I want Apple to fix for the upcoming 14 Pro. And now the last aspect that I really enjoyed about the display was just how great it looked whenever I was watching movies, playing games, and scrolling through the OS. Like right here, you can see me watching a video on it, and you can see just how colorful and vibrant the display is. I really enjoy how quality the resolution was, and to give you guys an example of how good the screen is, I'm going to watch a video and play a game.
He's alone on the right wing. What a move! I like it. I like it. Working for everyone. Here he comes. Bryant defense. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Kyrie against Bryant, who takes on the challenge. See if Kyrie does as well. Crowd anticipating a little one-on-one action. Behind the back. Couldn't shake it. Bryant still an all-world defender.
And now the next thing that I wanted to look at when it came to the 13 Pro was the software. Now the software on the 13 Pro was as smooth as ever. I never got any lags. Even when my phone would heat up, the 13 Pro still maintained that consistency, and that's why it's my daily phone till this day. I also really loved how it was able to handle power heavy apps, like whenever I was playing Asphalt 9 or Call of Duty. The game held up really well and was still able to stay really smooth and get the job done. And again, I will give Apple a pat on the back because of how connected I'm able to stay with my other devices. Like for those who don't know, I shoot my videos on my iPhone, so whenever I'm done shooting, all I have to do is airdrop the videos to my MacBook, and it makes the process so much easier. And again, the software handled really well. Even after 8 months, the 13 Pro was able to keep up with the consistency, not only within the display, but also within the software. Now the next thing that I want to look at when it came to the 13 Pro was the battery. Now the iPhone 13 Pro has a 3000 milliamp hour battery that I will say held up really well when compared to other smartphones in the market. I would get 6 to 8 hours of on-screen time, which was pretty heavy usage since I also shoot videos. And on days where I would shoot videos, I would end my day with about 10% battery left, which was really good since recording takes up most of my day. And on my days where I would use the 13 Pro like a regular phone, I would end my day with about 30% battery left, which was a good enough difference for me. The charging was also something that I will say was pretty fast. Like whenever I would charge it up at night, I would shower while it's charging, and by the time I got to bed, my phone would be at 90%, which was pretty good. And now the only thing that I would say sucked about the battery was its wireless charging speeds. Like when compared to other phones, the 13 Pro would take longer for me to connect it even when I had the case on, and the speeds were just much slower. And now the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the 13 Pro is the speakers. Now, when comparing these speakers on the 13 Pro to the 12 Pro, I would say that the speakers were pretty much the same. The bass was a little weak, but that's pretty much a common problem within iPhones and most smartphones as a whole. But besides the bass not being that great, I would still say that the overall sound quality was really good. Music sounded nice, videos were loud and clear, and the speakers overall enhanced my viewing experience because they were just that good. And to give you guys an idea of how the speakers felt, I'm going to play a video so that you can just see how loud they are. And now the final thing that I want to look at when it comes to the 13 Pro is the cameras. Now remember in the beginning of the video when I was talking about consistency? Well, the camera on the iPhone 13 Pro was the most consistent thing that I got using it on a day-to-day basis. The pictures always came out colorful, vibrant, very sharp, and didn't give me any shutter lag, which made the camera even more practical when compared to other phones in the market. And even when we look at the daytime outside photos, I would say that these were easily the best in the game. I liked how my skin looked when taking selfies. I liked how the colors were very accurate, and I like how nice the skies looked when I was taking long range photos. And again, when looking at all these photos back to back, I again liked how consistent they were. Like every photo looks like it came from an actual camera, which gives off a very natural picture. And now when we look at the daytime inside photos, I would say that these were just as consistent as the outside pictures. Even when the lighting wasn't as good, I was still able to get good photos, which really says a lot about the development of the iPhone cameras. My skin still looked really nice without the graininess. Different objects still maintain that signature sharpness, and the overall pictures came out very natural while adjusting to that environment. And when it came to video quality, the 13 Pro had one of the best to offer, and to give you guys an example, here's some videos that I took on it. So here's my final question. Should you get the iPhone 13 Pro in 2022? Well, I would say yes because it's one of the most consistent phones out there, and if you want a really good phone that is powerful and can last you a very long time, then this phone is right for you. And there it is, you guys, my review on the 13 Pro after 8 months of use. Now let me know down in the comments, would you get the iPhone 13 Pro in 2022? Let me know. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for sticking around. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It will be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.